So what she's doing is she's filling herself with endorphins. She's filling herself with oxytocin. Endorphins, exercising. Oxytocin, love for God. You better believe she's loving life, serotonin. And then she's on there, she's exercising, she's feeling good, she's filling herself with dopamine. Okay? That right there is probably the happiest person in this room. Would be my guess, at least in the morning. We're going to try to organize things so when we wake up, we use these chemicals. So there's the acronym of that's the right word is DOSE. So DOSE. So we've all heard of them, but dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and when you exercise is endorphins. Okay? And just kind of what this does is this is going to be kind of a tool. Some of the stuff you've heard of before, and some of the stuff you perhaps you haven't. But just to kind of evaluate what's the most powerful stuff that we can do. The positive chemicals, I kind of gave them a name. I call them the Cavalry. So I call them the Cavalry, which is kind of a fun thing. So at the top there it says the liquid Cavalry. Cavalry. So just so everybody kind of knows, the chemicals, the 4 positive chemicals are in the brain. The cortisol, that's mostly down here in the adrenal glands. So the reason they're here is when you feel stress is fight or flight. So we have this, we get this energy to our arms to fight or our legs to flee. Is the serotonin and dopamine, those are kind of like right here in between, and then the oxytocin and the endorphins are kind of right here. Who here knows the different brainwave states? We're not experts, but we're pretty familiar with them. Okay? All right, so for those that aren't completely familiar with the brainwave states, there's kind of maybe 4 or 5 of these different brainwave states. And so when we wake up in the morning, or when we're sleeping, that's considered a delta state. The delta is a very slow, we're sleeping. The next state would be theta, and the theta is between waking and sleeping, so kind of twilight. So when we go to bed at night and when we wake up, we're in a theta state. Okay? That's a very powerful state. We only have theta basically from the age of 2 to 7. And what that allows us to do is at that age, we're just allowed to download information. So we don't evaluate whether or not it's right or wrong because there's 20,000 rules when you're growing up as a kid. And it's just too hard to say, well, is that right or right? You can't run your family. So everything just comes in between the age of 2 and 7. You can't really evaluate whether it's right or wrong. Then there's an alpha state. At the age of 12, that's when we generally go into a beta state. And beta that's where you can say, is this right or wrong? And we wake up, we're in delta. And then we're in theta for generally a very short period. The average person very short because we're in high. Then it goes to alpha. I didn't go to all of them, but then it's alpha. Alpha is when the inside world is more real than the outside world. Okay, when we're out in nature and we're loving life, that's alpha. Definitely bliss is alpha. And then after alpha is beta, and there's a low beta and high beta, and that's stress. So when you're like in traffic and stuff's happening, that's high beta. So most people don't prolong theta because they wake up and they're thinking about all their thoughts, and they're out of theta real quick, and they're into high beta. The theta state is really, really vital because that's where we can get information straight into us. In the first 15 minutes of the day or so, you are in a theta state. Who in this room wakes up with, they would say, a high level of energy in the mornings? They wake up in the morning with a high level of energy. Okay. Yeah. So mine's pretty good because I practice this stuff. If you had a choice, would you rather be euphoric or would you rather be blissful? Early in the first 15 minutes, would you rather be euphoric or blissful? So who would rather be euphoric? Okay. Who would rather be blissful within 15 minutes? Wow. Okay. So and the blissful that's more towards the meditation. Okay. And so with these 4 chemicals that we've talked about, with those 4 chemicals, you can kind of figure out which one's pretty easy. I mean, the ones that are kind of softer are the serotonin and the oxytocin. So those are kind of the chemicals. There's different ways to activate them, but those would be the chemicals we'd want to aim for a little bit more if we were going for the bliss. If we were going for more high energy and everything else, and dopamine, and then the endorphins. Our cells get addicted to those chemicals I mentioned, as well as the stress chemicals, like cortisol. There's receptors on our cells, and they're on the outside of the cells, and that's where these different chemicals hit those receptors. The easy button, okay, these are old and whatever, they're overpriced. I'm at home, I'm hitting this all day long, okay? If I do something, I'm hitting it, because That's achievement. If it's real, that's dopamine. I just created dopamine in my body right now, and now I got a little bit of dopamine. Now I'm happy, and now I'm treating serotonin. So I would just suggest that everybody, as much as they can, reward yourself through the course of the day. When you wake up, if you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it literally is a direct command to your mind. Okay, it's kind of like a spaceship blasting off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and just get out of bed, and you will, because you're in the state, and it doesn't know what's going on. Your body can't resist it. So now we're up. Now we're out of bed. Now what we've done is these chemicals. If you've got positive chemicals got going on, then obviously keep doing what you're doing because that's fantastic. If you don't, now what we've done is by putting out these chemicals, you bought yourself a little bit of time, because just by getting out of bed, okay, you just did some dopamine because you had progress. Okay, you just moved, and you're moving your body a little bit. So no matter what, if we're moving, even if we're doing this, our body thinks something's going on. If we're like this, or we're like this, then our body's going to have an idea there. But even if we're just moving forward, just by getting out of bed, you bought yourself 5 seconds, we'll say, if you wake up with tough thoughts, of time, okay? So now you're out of bed. Feel good, because you got up quick. If you're not grateful when you wake up because you're grumpy, then don't lie to yourself. But try to say something, I'm grateful that I got out of bed. I'm proud of myself for getting out of bed. And it's just start the crescendo, because what we're trying to do is, if you have an issue with those chemicals, we're trying to keep them at bay to buy us some time until we can get the cavalry going. If you can get those visualizations, the more active they are, and then hear some voices, like someone that is supportive, like you can do it, or you're going to have a great day, or something like that. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, back, you've probably heard that before. But those are the 3 primary senses. What is celebration to the body? Celebration is you did something, or maybe someone else did. Okay, maybe your team did something. We get dopamine from our team. We have an identity with that team. They win, we say we won. To me, that's oxytocin. Okay, right now I'm feeling love. Okay, so now I'm kind of loving life. There's serotonin going on right there. Not going to be any dopamine in that situation because I'm not going to feel dopamine. And I say it, you're not giving yourself love, you're giving yourself oxytocin. I mean, Tony Robbins, this sort of thing, I mean, you're jumping up and down the whole time. I mean, you're so full of endorphins. You're so full of everything. Does anybody here have a rebounder, a mini trampoline? One. Okay. Do you use it sometimes?
Every day. First thing I do every day.
Now, is this?
I say all my prayers while I'm doing my jumper jog.
Okay. She's got.
Or I don't know if I call them prayers, but I'm really just talking to the universe, God, universe, source, soul.
Yeah, you're filling yourself with
Saying all my
oxytocin.
stuff.
It's
All
oxytocin.
good in life comes to me with easy joy.
Okay. So this is our example right here. So it's your example. So how long does it take you for your on the rebounder when you wake up?
I try to do 20 minutes. But
How long before you wake up, between waking up and getting on the rebounder?
Almost immediately. I go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I grab my smoothie because it's prepared the night before, but I have to buzz it up in the garage. That's where my jumper joggers. So I take it out.
See, I'm gonna get teary-eyed right there.
I jump.
I am.
And I don't go back in the house until I'm done with all my stuff.
Okay.
Wow.
So what she's doing, so everyone, and it's a lot of things. The lymphatic system doesn't get really moving unless you're running or jumping, and that's the best thing in it. So a rebounder is literally one of the best investments on earth. They're $40 on Amazon, same at Walmart, right around the same thing, and you don't have to bounce that high. I mean, you can just be kind of doing something like that. Now, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? How do you feel after you complete that routine?
I love it. And I miss it. Like if I'm busy and I can't do that, I definitely miss it.
Because you're addicted to those chemicals and you're not getting them.
Ah.
So what she's doing is she's filling herself with endorphins. She's filling herself with oxytocin. Endorphins, exercising. Oxytocin, love for God. You better believe she's loving life, serotonin. And then she's on there, she's exercising, she's feeling good, she's filling herself with dopamine. Okay? That right there is probably the happiest person in this room. Would be my guess, at least in the morning. The quickest way we can change our state when we're not feeling good is to move our body. And is to quickly move our body. And if you have a rebounder in your house, in your home, I mean, do you use it to change state as well, or do you only use it for exercise?
Do
To change your state. If you're feeling kind of,
No.
okay, see, I do. I mean, because it's so blessed with happiness and there's such a strong connection to it, and you feel it anyway. But you can use that as a pattern or a dream board wouldn't be a bad thing because you're still in your theta state, okay? So you've got like that 15 minutes or whatever, so to get the visual going, having a dream board and looking at that and trying to get into that state and feel those chemicals of having that dopamine or in that home or whatever the case may be, you're feeling serotonin, feel those different things. But the vision board for the actual vision, and then we want to do the internal vision. When we say things out loud and we sing, that does trigger endorphins. It's not the level of the runner's high. Where literally I changed my walk, okay? If I'm walking everyday life, I walk the way I've always walked my whole life. But now if I'm at a coffee shop and I'm doing my work and I'm in a good state, I walk at the speed of bliss. If you're not feeling that good and you don't have a rebounder and you don't want to jump on a rebounder, I literally can completely change my state just by walking. Because I am so linked up to this amazing feeling. I spent hours on it, hours. But just seeing myself as my future self and envisioning that, to be happy, really all we need in life is progress. If we are in a certain area of life, then we will feel happy as long as there's some progress. If we can just feel a little bit of progress in 3 or 4 categories, that's all we need for fulfillment. That's it, okay? But here's the thing, is the body can't tell the difference between something that's vividly imagined and something that's real. So if you go to those categories individually, and does anybody see where they are? I can just say them. First off is your physical health. Would be, it varies, but physical health is one of the categories, okay? Your psychological health is another category. A system of time management, how you manage your life is another category. Your family, your close family is a category. Your not so close family, friends are a category. Finances are a category. How you're doing self-improvement is a category. Finances are a category. Spirituality is a category. And contribution, okay? So those fit for most people. There's other ones that are out there. But if you're just feeling progress in those categories, that's all you need to be fulfilled. And if your mind can't tell the difference, if you just focus on a category you're feeling like you're 6 out of 10, and you envision how if we're nitpicking in a good way of what's actually going good in that area for real things, but we just envision ourselves, those same visions we do, but then do them by category, then we can literally create not just happiness in our lives, but we can create fulfillment in our lives just through imagination. Fun exercise for 20 to 30 minutes with music, rebounding or walking or whatever, but 180 minus your age is usually healthy for everybody that's on the lower end. And you're going to get the endorphins. She's got the endorphins going. That's the cool thing with me saying 25 hours a day, which is accurate. We can't do it all. We can't. So we should just let go of the thought that, oh, I'm not doing this. We can't do it all. I can overwhelm anybody on earth 365 days a year with different stuff. But that's what that would be about, is to be building out like a 3 or 4 hours where you know the best stuff in your life that you can do. Now, who's going to spend 3 or 4 hours on it? But if you're really in a funk, okay, you're going to have one of these that's best for you that you can turn to at any time, not for the next month or 6 months. It's there for the rest of your life.